Oh, good morning. Hi.
Shower time, Adderall, a glass of whiskey, and diesel jeans.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
We should stand back and give credit to the other people because we think we are absolutely atrocious.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
I mean, it's chicken. It's fried chicken.
James Bond what?
GoldenEye.
Really?
That would be a cool podcast, bro.
Yes, that would be really cool.
You're like caught in like a death vortex tunnel as he just aims down the pipe and shoots you between the eyes.
And you bleed out your eye. You see the blood come down your face.
Yeah, you don't close your eyes and nothing. That's what it looks. They gave you a glimpse of what it would like be like to get shot in the face by James Bond. All right, so coming up here, we got our big old fantasy draft. I had heard that strange rumor running around the block that number one pick's going to be CMC.
For our league?
I think so. Or did you text
Oh,
that? What?
Donnie had sent something. The league commissioner said.
Danny.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Anyways, he did say it. I wouldn't be shocked. I would be shocked. It's gonna be Mahomes.
Give your meat a good old rub.
They'll play. I think Mahomes and I think Allen both go in the top 5.
Spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
I think so, because I think they'll just see you can give me 5,000 yards and 40 plus touchdowns in Don's league. I mean, I don't blame him. I wouldn't take Allen, but I'd take Mahomes if he's available at 7. I'll take Mahomes.
Fifth pick, I may be able to squeeze out CMC.
No, because he'll be. You don't think he'll be the first running back off the board whenever they start to take running backs? I mean, someone in the top 10.
Kevin, the Giants fan, he's going to take Saquon. Marco would take Zeke and Miguel too, but I think they're both behind me.
I was thinking you picked back. You're picking 5th.
5th.
Oh yeah. You could. You can squeak him.
And I will if he's there. That's my RB1.
Yeah. Okay. So that is your RB1. Yeah, and he is. I mean, it's not even close. If he's healthy, not even close.
He's one of like whatever. You guys that have no, never mind. But last year he only played 2 games, and in both of those games he had multiple touchdowns.
I'll do you one better. He played 3 games and had 2 touchdowns in all of them.
Is that what it was?
Yes, and he scored like 20. I looked today. He had like 25, 29, and 32 for fantasy points. Probably RB1 all 3 weeks.
I had him last year. I never got to play him. Hurt the whole time. But yeah, he's next level good. There's not really anybody on his level actually. Is he the most underrated guy in the league?
He could be. Yeah, he could be.
I mean, his name is almost a rarity nowadays. It's kind of weird.
Well, I think it's kind of like the Trevor Lawrence's name was a rarity up until the game started, because he's just like, you already know he's the number one, so like you don't really bring it up because it's kind of boring.
Speaking of Lawrence, Etienne out for season, it looks like. It's good for James Robinson.
Man, yeah, it's good for James Robinson. It sucks for them, though.
Yeah, I agree.
It sucks for Etienne.
I don't even think James Robinson's as good as. I mean, yes, he had that like rookie record year, but I mean, he's not like over the top talent. I mean, he just ran the ball well, and he will continue. But it's not like he's due for a home run every game. Etienne kind of has that X factor, but he's not far off. He's not far off from like a McKinnon type, That's how I imagine he'll be. More like 5 carries, like 6, 7 receptions a game.
Yeah, I think he'll be all about the catches for sure.
Yeah.
I see him like.
I mean, in PPR, he's going to be an animal.
I see him like a. Oh man, that's a good one. Who is his player comp?
Etienne?
Yeah.
I got a few. I mean,
Jamal Charles? No.
We both got autism, haven't we?
Maybe Le'Veon Bell. No,
No.
I don't think he's got that time. If anybody runs like Bell out of last draft, it's Chuba.
Yeah, like, because I wouldn't say Etienne, he performs better than you would, like, think he would. Like, he's just a better player. Like, kind of like Devontae Smith. Like, just looking at him and looking at his play style and everything, like,
Too.
he's a better player than you think he would be.
Yeah. Etienne, well, I would, yeah, I guess I would say McKinnon.
I doubt he was a 5-star recruit.
He's got some, like, Chase Edmonds in him. He's got a little Kenyon Drake in him.
Yeah, he's got a little Kenyon Drake in him. I see that for sure. Because he's a little bit like, yeah, he's not a
receiver's body. Yeah, he's got a receiver's body or D-back body. And
he's kind of got that up and down speed and power.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of length.
And he's, yeah. Like, and I see him as like a 20 yards and in. Like, when you're in the red zone, he's a touchdown machine. Give him the ball at the 18-yard line, like a screen pass, he'll score.
Yeah, he's going to be awesome. I'm excited for that team. Man, are they stacked. And that's crazy to say, but that Jags offense, I just think about the weapons. It's pretty exciting.
They've got weapons low-key, they do.
They've got weapons. I mean, if Etienne didn't get it, they would have, like, deep weapons.
Is that a team that you're going to look to take the over on for wins?
It's low. I love Urban Meyer. I mean, I'm an Urban Meyer guy. I don't know how many people could say that, but yeah, I would still go over with Jags. There's definitely teams I'm leaning under that doesn't seem to be the popular choice. You already know I don't think Washington football team is going to win very many games.
Okay.
I don't think Pittsburgh is going to.
Now wait, let's go back to that for a second. Is that because when you say when they're going to play the Giants, you think you'll give Giants the edge, and when they play Dallas, you give Dallas the edge? So that's like right there, possibly 4 losses.
I mean, I think those may be the games that they might be able to pull off. I can't imagine.
Oh, okay. I was guessing for you there. I think the Eagles are going to win that division.
It's Riverboat Ron, man. Like, I can't lie. It's just not a coach that's. He's a good coach, really? But I don't like his system. Not with a guy like Fitzpatrick. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
I mean, he's not like some elite offensive mind. Isn't he a defensive coach anyways?
Yes. And I like the defense, and I like their.
But they do. Oh no! Now I'm thinking of Carolina.
I like Terry McLaurin. But I mean, I don't see them getting out of. I don't see them getting out of traffic. I guess like they're gonna be. I think every game is gonna be a dogfight with them. And they may be like Chargers last year or Chargers the last 4 years, where they lose like every game by 1 possession. It's gonna be weird. I think. I think Cardinals. I think Cardinals are gonna go under. I think 49ers will go.
Because their division.
Partially division. I think this is going to be the year where Cliff Kingsbury's true colors show, where he's not improving as a coach. I think they're going to be almost identical to last year's team. I like the development of some of their young defensive players, but I don't think the offense. I mean, yeah, they brought AJ Green in, but whatever, right? I mean, you know, he's still wide receiver 3 on that team, maybe even 4 in the long run. But I can't. Yeah, I like Kyler. I'm a Kyler fan, but I mean, outside of that, I don't think there's enough there. He's not quite Russell Wilson yet, where he can go and just win any week, no matter what the situation around him is like. He's not, reliant on a good team. I just don't. Without Kyler Murray, I can't imagine that team wins 1 game. I mean, I'm not a big fan. So, and then another bold, I guess, under.
Defense isn't atrocious. It's actually, I mean, it's not. It's fine.
It's fine, but that seems to be a team a lot of people are going like over with.
Okay.
I think Tennessee will go under.
I didn't know. So the Cardinals are a team this year?
I guess
people
so,
like
bro.
them?
I guess so. Also,
that's weird because people love. Think about that division they're in. They love all the other teams more.
I know. I don't know what it is about. That's why it's like confusing me. I've just heard the Cardinals, be talked as a team that could.
I mean, you've got how many people
It's because of how that season went last
Rams
year.
in the World Series or Rams big bounce back year.
They probably should have made the playoffs last year, the Cardinals.
No, it's their fault. They shit the bed.
Yeah, but that's why people are liking them. They think they'll have, a little bit of improvement will put them over the hump. But
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's too hard of a division. I mean, you've got how many people that love the Rams this year with Stafford?
Honestly, I like the Rams. I like it.
And then you've got how many people that think the Niners, now that they have Trey Lance or a healthy Jimmy G, between the two of them, that's already
treating them like they're a Super Bowl team again. And I hear it and I get it. I don't agree with it though. I think they'll be closer to last year than their Super Bowl team.
They're not a Super Bowl team.
No, I don't.
They're a 9-10 win team.
Yeah, neither of those quarterbacks can do anything yet.
Maybe eventually Trey Lance, but I don't know. I'd be shocked.
I'm not taking the future away from Lance at all, but not right now. It's not like he's going to go out there and beat Russell Wilson, the Seahawks.
I like Jimmy G. Go out and throw him in the regular season and start in the first 10 games. Like I don't know. I'd be kind of shocked if you did better than like 6-4.
Yeah,
because how much better is Jimmy G than those guys he was playing with the last 2 years where Jimmy G was hurt and they had like 4 wins? Like he's not
a little, you know what, a little better. But I think people were giving Jimmy G the credit for being the factor that the team was losing. But I mean, they didn't have Kittle and they didn't have Bosa. Those are their 2 superstars. So it's like it wasn't really Jimmy G. And Nick Mullins, he's in Philly now or something like that. He was all right, I guess. Bethard was okay. But yeah, like you said, they kind of were like similar to like Jimmy G though. It was way more apparent that Kittle was not.
Well,
and Bosa.
Nick Mullins sucked once he had to play more than like 4 games. Not his fault.
True.
That's not his
You're
fault.
right. You're right. I agree. I thought the first few were
and Jimmy G is better than them.
Yes.
On the eye test and by numbers, he's better than those 2 guys.
Yeah, I would take Jimmy G over those guys all day, for sure.
It's not even those guys anymore. Who is it now?
It's Lance and
oh yeah, that's right. Lance and Jimmy G, and then who cares who's the third stringer?
I don't even know if they're the third guy. Well, they do, but I forget. Some random. So like I think that I think Vikings will go under again. I don't know. I like Giants probably to take their own division. So Giants I can't really go either way on. And you know how I feel about the Cowboys. They could be a Super Bowl team if they wanted to, but you know how they're going to go.
So you don't think Giants or Cowboys win their division?
I think Giants might. I really like Giants defense. You know what though? Daniel Jones, man, it's the worst player on their team. He's hard to watch. He's hard to watch. I can't imagine there's a lot of Giants fans left who want him there. I mean, and talk about a guy who's avoided all criticism at all costs. I think there's a better case for Mitchell Trubisky to be a starting quarterback than Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
He's getting his Mitchell Trubisky shot, but he'll actually get playing time.
Yeah, he's going to get all the playing time and none of the insane criticism coming from every angle of the world. I have no idea why Mitch was so hated.
Even though, when was Jones picked? 6th or 5th or something?
I can, Jones, yeah, I think like 5th.
He should be right there in that boat with Mitch then.
Should be. Now, actually, I would like to... Mitch, I got some interesting numbers. So he played this is his 5th season. Okay. 5th season, he didn't have any seasons where he played 16 games. He played the one he got 14 games in.
Yeah.
During that was 2018. That was our double doink year. That year, through 14 games, he had 24 touchdowns through the air, 4 on the ground, 12 picks, and 400 yards rushing. So solid year. In my opinion, a Pro Bowl year with knowing that he was a dual threat. So he had a 2-for-1 ratio. He had a stellar record in the league, and he was really dangerous on that.
He made the Pro Bowl.
He did, but as a reserve. So that was 2018. All right, that was his best season, and I think everybody can agree that's right where probably we thought he was going to pop off, but maybe he hit his ceiling right then. But let's go into our most recent season. So last year, he played. Or was it last year? How many games did he have last year?
Oh, probably like 8 or something.
2 years, 1, 2. Okay, no. So the year after the double doink, he played 10 games.
Okay.
And he got that shoulder injury, I do believe. But he threw, again, 2-for-1 ratio. He had 16 touchdowns and 8 picks. And he was doing damage on the ground again. So it's consistent. And he was a good winner. Okay, and his QBRs were never really dipping below low 80s, it felt like, which is solid. He had the 1 year where his QBR average was 95. Really just overall okay. Come into this year, he gets signed on a contract to the Bills because we don't want to re-sign him. And he signs for $2.5 million. $2.5 million. Okay, so keep that number in mind. Now you look across the board, who replaced him? Andy Dalton. What's the thought process there? Well, I don't know. Andy Dalton's got experience, red rifle, playoff appearances. Strangely enough, Mitch in half the time has had nearly as many playoff appearances, just too short of Dalton's mark, who's in his 10th season. But let's go look at Dalton's best season. That was 2017. All right, and that was, no, sorry, not 2017. Let's go look at the same season that Mitch went 24-12 with, at 2017. He went 25-12 and 0 touchdowns on the ground. So he had less touchdowns, he had the same amount of picks, and his team wasn't even close to a 12-4 record. Okay, but the weapons weren't far off. The Bears weren't stacked, super juiced for Mitch or anything like that. It was mainly defense. But it just shows you right there. Okay, so there's recent sample size where both of them are in the league together, and numbers lean Mitch. Okay, now you look at that 2020 season, the one I mentioned, where Mitch was 16-8, 10 games. Dalton played 11 games. He was 14-8. So he had one more game than Mitch, had 2 less touchdowns, same amount of picks, less wins, and he turns around and the next season comes in, somehow takes Mitch's job and signs for $10 million a year. 4 times the amount of Mitch's price.
Well, I mean, okay,
Part of that is Kyle Fuller. I get we would have assigned Mitch for more than $2.5 million because it wouldn't have been a 1 year, but we had to cut elite player Kyle Fuller to get Dalton in the building for all types of money that we could have saved if we just retained Mitch. And that's not to say we couldn't draft a guy. I mean, that goes back to Nagy's probably just being a baby or a pussy and was too scared to do that to some guy that he had drafted 4 years prior. But it's like it was a really dumb, bad move, and I don't see any argument for Dalton. I take Mitch still.
Here's the only thing I'd say is that Mitch, the way Mitch had his time in Chicago and specifically with Matt Nagy and how things ended on a real ugly note, on one of our worst games ever played, that playoff game. Ugh. We had one, it was bad. We know. Anyways, that's kind of like how they ended that stint. And I think in Nagy's eyes, because he's not the kind of guy where he could be in Green Bay and have Rodgers coming in and out of the room like this and like, all right, you're going to play this year? Okay, sweet. You don't know until last second he's going to play, and everybody just get along and play football. That's not the kind of guy Matt Nagy is. Like, I think there's too much, there was a divorce waiting to happen, and when that divorce happened, it made sense. It would not have made sense for Mitch to come back to Chicago, play Nagy's system where it didn't work. For whatever reason, it did not work. I don't think it would have won us more games than Andy Dalton. Neither one I don't think will do great at all, but both can maybe win you 7. But I didn't see Mitch coming back and
That's
bring,
where
like,
that money.
it
That's
didn't
where
work.
the
Not a
money
good
number
match.
comes in.
Not a good match.
So that's that. You made the point I was trying to make. I wasn't saying we should have reset Mitch. I'm all for drafting a guy and moving on from him. Nice, easy divorce. It was that money number. That Dalton was 4 times expensive.
But there is no. That's my point though. Nagy had to get Mitch out of the building. If Nagy wasn't the coach, if Lovie Smith's coach, here's what would happen. They would say, like, all right, well, yeah, I mean, look at the money. We're going to draft another kid. Like, sorry, Mitch, you're 4 years, 5 years in your career now. You're going to compete with this rookie. Maybe you'll win the starting job. Who knows? Who cares? It's about this kid now, which is happening right now. I get it. But the only difference is Matt Nagy. And Matt Nagy, I don't think, could have taken another year in the coaching in Palace Hall or in Soldier Field with Mitch Trubisky. I think he decided, like, no, whatever we're doing, we're getting him out of here. He doesn't work
makes
for me.
sense.
It doesn't work for us.
It makes total sense. It's but the one thing that is bothering me about all of it is the fact that Andy Dalton somehow, some way, is perceived as a legit quarterback going into his 10th season. And he's never even outperformed the guy that we just got rid of. Mitch proved that he had similar first few seasons to Dalton. Like, good, won a lot of games, was solid for the most part, had a decent amount of touchdowns. Nothing crazy, though. Very similar to Dalton.
What's the point you're making?
This is the... let me get to it. Don't cut out. Dalton and those 2 4-year samples together, Mitch, with his 4 years, turned out to be a laughing stock of the league. Somebody who's worth nothing but a backup 1-year contract. And Andy Dalton, after his 4, got a huge extension with the Bengals. Didn't even work out there. Ended up going to Dallas for a decent paycheck. Didn't work there with a sweet offense. And now he's in Chicago for even more money. It's like people are completely forgetting about what his actual career is. He's not the Red Rifle. He's not worth any type of win. But we're bringing him in, and there's a real coach in the building, and there's real people in the city who actually believe that Andy Dalton is somebody worth giving a damn with. And you go look at his true career numbers, he's never, 1 year, he threw 33 touchdowns, and they didn't do shit because he lost in the playoffs. 0 for 5 in the playoffs. 0 for 5. So I
think the case is the people that are agreeing with start Andy Dalton, every argument I've heard is the same thing. They always say, because why would we're putting him out to the fucking wolves because Andy Dalton is going to get hurt or Justin Fields is going to get faced with Aaron Donald, their shitty line. Like, if anyone's going to get injured, let's put Andy Dalton in. That's what I hear the argument from people that say start Andy Dalton.
Okay,
like,
those
I don't
people
want to
have
put
like a very negative outlook toward our season. Then I've watched us beat the Rams.
Okay,
I've watched us beat.
Okay, so take out the literal sense of getting hurt, but you have to face.
Okay, fine. Then you commit with them. Commit with them. Say we're going to lose week 1. Say we're going to lose
against a shitty offensive line. You're putting whatever quarterback you put onto that field, especially with Matt Nagy's offense, in a bad situation to begin week 1. First quarter, first
series. Say it,
series.
bro. Then say we're losing, no matter who plays.
So the people that are arguing,
oh my God,
put Andy Dalton win, are the ones that are saying at least week 1, that one night where we have Aaron Donald, we can afford not to start Justin Fields. Let's put Andy Dalton, because neither one, I don't think will win that game. That's what those people are saying.
Or just to throw a loss in over fear of injury.
I think people are saying we're throwing that loss.
Yes, they are. That's what people are saying.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible outlook to have on a team that has a good enough defense to bring us to the playoffs. We beat these Rams. We beat them.
I agree. No, we did beat them recently.
So those people need to check themselves and stop cheering. Stop cheering for the Bears if you're so inclined on us losing to a team that isn't that good against a quarterback who our defense has always beat his whole career. And we beat McVay. We're 1-1 with that group anyway. And it doesn't make any sense. And then not to mention, Justin Fields wouldn't be in the NFL if he can't handle NFL hits. I'm so tired of this cowardly way you look at professional sports. Like, Lamar Jackson wouldn't run the ball if he thought he was going to get hurt. He's not going to get hurt. He's proved it now. That's set in stone. Okay, he can run 100% and do Lamar Jackson shit all year long and never get hurt. And he's proved it not once, but twice over. When I heard the most arrogant pricks coming at him and saying he's going to get hurt, it's just like guaranteeing it because people are geniuses. You know, they're guaranteeing that shit. Just like people are now guaranteeing that if Fields goes in week 1, he's either going to look ugly or lose or get injured. When I personally think he is so good in games that are high intensity. I look back at his game against Clemson. There's not even a lot of NFL games during the year that was that height of intensity and that height of pain and pissiness between the teams and the crowd. And he thrived. It's put him out there in a game that is Sunday night to open the 2021 season. You guys want to go out with a weak stance and play a veteran and take an L? I'm sorry, I can't get behind that. They're not unless we're a team that has no shot at doing anything. But you and I have watched enough Bears football of late. We have enough guys on the roster that made playoffs twice over, not just once. So
here's another point a lot of people are missing.
Pissing me off.
If they really watched the Bears last year with Nick Foles, then they know exactly what our offense is going to look like this year with Andy Dalton.
Exactly, and it's giving up. Exactly. And now we know that Nagy took the play calling back. Talk about a mistake.
That's what I said the other night. The difference between our teams this year and last year, the only difference is we swapped out Mitch and Nick for Andy Dalton. So, like,
Mitch and Nick for Andy Dalton and Fields, and we're going to treat same way that we all knew Mitch should have kept playing last year, especially after Foles was the worst quarterback I've ever watched in my entire life for a few weeks span. And now they're going to turn around and do it again, but to an even more talented guy. Foles was horrible. Foles was horrible. And he had the full backing of Nagy, who pulled the plug on Mitch after one bad mistake. It's like, fuck it. I mean, it's like, whatever. I'm mad at Bears fans. I'm mad at the organization because we're not doing common sense sports shit. And we're not going to win anything without aggression. The NFL is not a process league. There's too many positions you have to pay. You got to pull the trigger every small chance you have. You have to. So it's like, and you look at guys like Watson and Joe Burrow and Baker and guys who are thrown in the fire and they thrive in it. Those are all very much Justin Fields type guys. Just like the dude in college, enough to where you can go, all right, I know he's not going to be like horrible because he was the guy for a lot of games. And not to mention he had more games than Burrow, he had more games than Baker, he had more games than Watson.
It's strange that the narrative is only coming out of Chicago.
It is.
Because
it's strange.
What other rookie are they debating should they start out? Because when it comes to Mac Jones and Cam Newton, it's not should Mac Jones start. It's
Cam
who's
Newton.
Going to start. Because if you guys should, most people say Mac Jones. If they say who, then it's a debate.
Yeah.
Ours is not even a who. It's a should Justin Fields start. People are like, I don't know. And they give that Andy Dalton. It's like, should he start? What are you talking about? Should he start? We just drafted him. We traded up for him. That's why we traded for him.
Yep. No, it's you're 100% right in that you can't. There's no way to back it up. You just can't back it up without at least to me looking like a total casual fan, at least to Chicago Bears football.
Okay, so then that's where when we start to talk about who will start, that's where to me it becomes a very black and white conversation. It's over. You know exactly who's going to start.
I know. That's even dumber and more annoying when people are like juicing it like Fields even has a shot when we all know who our coach is. Like our coach, I think he goes to bed at night and goes, "How can I piss off our fan base more today?" And he'll do that.
Do you know what he said to himself last night?
That's the only thing he writes on his hand each night, so he can wake up and read it in the morning.
Do you know what he said last night?
Up the day of his fans. What
he said? I'm going to double down on Andy Dalton tomorrow morning. Did you see his quote today?
Did you see him look down when he said it? He couldn't even look at the fucking reporter in the eye. He looked at his hands and he went, he said some weird term. He said,
he said,
absolutely, or something like that.
He emphasized it in some way or something.
Yes.
Like it was already the decision. And he just
somebody asked him, "Is Andy still starting week 1?" And he said, "Absolutely," or something like that. And he looked down, to avoid eye contact like a scared puppy.
And literally yesterday to end his press conference, he said, right now he ain't on the starter, but we'll have to look, the coming weeks because Justin's playing well too, so we'll have to see these coming weeks. And then today he says that.
Yeah, I mean it's
like, dude, he really is. He really is. Like, this is beyond what any Giants or Jets coach or Dolphins coach or Raiders coach has done to make him look stupid in the media. He has done more than all of that consistently his entire time in Chicago. Outside of his playoff appearances, which you have to, because he's a head coach, you have to give him credit, but he doesn't deserve it. But you have to give him the credit.
You're right.
But he has been one of the dumbest, strangest coaches. By the way, his clock management is ass too, which you would expect.
He's not prepared. It's not he's not ready to be a head coach.
It's like he's not prepared. It's like he goes to work and like just talks to the wall about like what they should do as a process as a team.
Yeah.
And how we should work through this. And then waiting for the next press conference so he can say it again.
What's even weirder though to build off that point is he avoids a lot of national media criticism. When in vice versa, the Bears get a lot. Somehow Nagy retains fans. Like Coward.
Because he's a Chiefs guy.
Coward. What is with Coward going, I like Nagy? He never stops saying that because he had him on once.
They can get away with it because they can always say, well, he's not a Bears guy. He's a Chiefs guy. That's why I like him. They can always say that.
They can do that. And the way he...
Or I guess if he does good, so they can embarrass, or he can embarrass the Bears.
People think he's cool or some shit.
He's not cool. Yeah, he comes from that weird tree that people like to talk about.
He does.
He's a Stefanski. What's the Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan? Like they talk on him like one of those.
They do. He's an offensive savant genius guy.
Right, the young guru guy.
He's kind of like the new Adam Gase. It's like it's going to take another 3 years before everybody realizes that he's like just not a real person. Because Adam Gase was talked about like a genius for a long time. He had to fail like 6 straight years.
He was still talking about like going into last year with the Jets.
He got hired after getting fired from Miami. That's like somebody hiring Nagy if we fire him this season.
Oh, he'll get I bet he gets a head coaching. No.
No way.
Yeah, he might get a head coaching job.
Really?
Because he went to the playoffs twice out of 2 years.
Oh my God, how fun would that be?
If we get to face him,
fuck another team up.
I hope he goes to somewhere like Minnesota so we get to face him.
Oh my God, I would pay good money for that.
I just thought about this right now. Mike Zimmer is on the hot seat. If Minnesota doesn't make the playoffs this year, fire Mike Zimmer. And Matt Nagy and the Minnesota Vikings, if they combine and get married, they will say in the media, this has always been what Matt Nagy wanted. He tried it with Nick Foles. He tried it with Justin Fields. Justin Fields was more of a mobile guy. He really just wanted a great pocket passer. So here's this guy, Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
And he'll go in and shit the bed.
I can't wait for that. It'd be even funnier if he went to same division with the Bills, and Mitch ends up playing some games and just fucking beats him every time he plays Nagy. That would be the most poetic justice of all time.
But playing against Nagy.
Yeah. Mitch looked good, man. I'm happy for him. I can't say that I'm not excited to.
I mean, here's the thing: we knew the dude has talent, and that was against the threes. Like he should have done that. That was against backup.
No, that's and it was too bad. It takes a preseason game outside of Chicago for people to give him credit instead of huge wins he had in Chicago where people.
How funny is that? A preseason game.
Yeah, it doesn't make
his first
sense.
one, and he's already his narrative has changed completely in the media.
I read an article today. You want to know the headline of it? Is Mitchell Trubisky the next Ryan Tannehill after one preseason?
Gosh. That is incredible.
It is, right? And
weirdly
enough, I actually he might be. I could see him starting.
But that's a take that we would have, not you guys.
Exactly.
You don't get to have that take.
Right, you guys can't take that from us. We're supposed to be saying
because
he's going to be the next man.
You cheated on him. You treated him like dirt for 4 years. You don't get to say that now. That's not fair.
It's so hard. It's
It's
so
not
easy to
fair.
be embarrassed.
They get to say whatever they want. They got a platform. We've got 0 listeners.
It's so hard and it's so easy to be a Bears fan. I love that. I mean, it would be worse. Be thankful because it would be worse if we had like all the bandwagoners. Luckily, we have all the hate, all the shitty, dumb hate that makes no sense. I
love
can't wait for someone to step up to me and actually insult the Bears one day, like a real person, and like I cannot wait. I can't wait to just rape somebody in a conversation like that.
That wants to shit on the Bears?
Yeah, like a real football guy. Go, oh, too bad you're a Bears fan. I go, why? And I would love it. I just want to hear what people have to say.
Okay, so I could do that, though. I could beat you in that debate. Let me be that guy.
Nah. I don't want to do that with you because you're like one of my few that I can find refuge in as a sane Bears
Oh, come on. It's radio.
Tim, I know all the argument. Okay.
Okay, well, I can give you one for the fact here. Your coach sucks ass. That would suck to be a fan of that coach.
Shit, well, that guy's right. If he said that,
that could be a reason why somebody says, oh, I feel bad for you.
If someone goes, oh, because they suck. Well, they don't suck. That's what I don't like. It's they're shitty coach and like.
Okay, I would say, all right, you don't suck, but your offense sucks.
Yeah. God dang it. We're stuck.
Hopefully they give Justin some playing time. That's what I would say next.
Justin's going to be. So how there's like certain quarterbacks that the league kind of catches up on. You just said it with Nick Mullins.
Mustard.
4 games. What'd you call him?
Yeah. No.
Mustard.
Sure. No, yeah, I got you. Okay.
It's because they could watch the tape and figure him out. Like Jimmy G had that same kind of phenomenon. There's a lot. Then there's like the few guys where it's like you know what they can do and what they will do, and you can't really game plan it. You just kind of have to know and go play against it. Like a Mahomes and a Russell Wilson. It's almost like you face a team.
Lamar
that has. It's like let's say you're an NBA coach and you're going to face a team that has the most ridiculous.
All right, who am I?
Pick and roll.
Can I be Budenholzer?
Sure. Yeah, you look like him. But I'm saying, let's say you're going up and you're facing a team that has the best pick and roll offense in the league. I mean, pick and roll it's so simple, and we understand the 2 separate ways the big guy can go. You can understand slipping, all that good stuff. But it's something you can't really game plan against. It's something you have to go out there and play against. You could either, step up, ice the guard, or you could drop back and cut off the out. Like tons of stuff you could do to stop the pick and roll. But there's always something that can like be made of nothing within that system. That's really similar to guys like Lamar and Russell Wilson. So people know exactly what they are going to do and what they can do, and So I think that's the type of player that we got lucky drafting. I really think that Fields is going to be that type of guy.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kind of standalone, but that's another reason that I don't think he should be considered a normal rookie.
Do you think Brady's a guy like that?
No, I don't. I think Brady got to a certain point where his mental game was so fucking strong that in a weird way, I think it like gave him like powers, like it allowed him to always play like himself and just ball the fuck out. But if Brady was like a mediocre quarterback who never really won the Super Bowls, but was still the same guy, same arm and everything, I can't imagine that you can't. No, I take it back. Because similar to the pick and roll again, a pocket passer is another thing you have to play against. You can't game plan against. Systems you can game plan against, but players you can't. A guy who can sit in the pocket and not feel that pressure coming 5 inches behind
and make every throw on the field.
It's like it's something you have to play against because it's not a normal thing.
So Aaron Rodgers, same thing.
Rodgers, yeah. So it's like all the best guys, really.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar for sure. I mean, Lamar, everybody knows he's going to
Josh Allen, I would say now.
Allen might be the best Fields comp out there right now, play style wise. just a live arm and willing to run. Willing to drop that shoulder. I'm very excited. But I think we're treating him like a normal rookie, similar to like a Rosen or a Darnold, where it's like you come in and obviously you have to have some kind of caution because it's literally like a little boy out there.
All right, here's one thing that I have been thinking about that makes me like kind of more sane, is that I think about every rookie situation of all these guys getting drafted, and like I think that most of the time it's some weird bullshit that until they get in. Like even Justin Herbert last year, they had to have their own doctors puncture his back, fucking Tyrod Taylor's lung for him to get in there.
Yeah, and that's what shows like either you're a good coach or you're not, and that's why like either you should be coaching in pro sports or you shouldn't. Okay.
Well, no. Here's my bigger point though, that because that is so weird most of the time how they get in. There's still those guys that you think are going to be good or should be good end up being good. So really, they're beginning, because even Mahomes, he only played his last couple games of his first year, and then the next year. So it doesn't really matter how you start, because once you get 5 or 6 games under the belt, all that's behind you because you're just winning games and it's full steam ahead. So I'm not really tripping if he really does have to miss 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like once he gets in there, he's going to start balling. So whatever.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. Every week we miss on him is another week we'll go, oh, I wish he played. Watch us go like 13-3, and we go, what would have happened if he played week 1 and 2? Maybe we would have had a 1-loss season. Or the number one.
That's what you'd be saying. If we go 13-3, you're gonna be saying, but why can we go 14-2?
I would be thinking, knowing me, I would be like, well, because I think that way every year. Every year we should be undefeated in my head. But like. That's a personal flaw. But, like, I know for a fact if we're end up being a really solid team under Justin Fields, I would constantly be thinking about the games we wasted not having him out there. Unless we somehow get that number 1 seed. Otherwise, there's always something that I can look at and be like, well, we could have been the number 1 seed instead of having to go in and face, the Cowboys who streaked all year, some crazy.
Yeah, so you could always say that. That's true. You could always say it. But I would also, because I would argue this in my own life, that everything happens for a reason, that I would say for Justin Fields, if I was him and that happened, like I would say everything happens for a reason. So no, fuck it. I'm going with the plan.
He is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's his mentality too.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
It really does. He's so calm about everything right now.
The Bears are trying to force Dalton down our throats so hard. He had like a couple like kind of like charming one-liners as a mic'd up guy today, like post-practice, and the Bears like had to post that 10-second clip. I knew they wouldn't be able to help themselves. And he wasn't even. He was just like hitting the crossbar as much as Justin Fields was.
Yeah.
And they like, oh, God, is he hard to watch.
I heard the Levitard show today shitting on Fields because of they, for some reason, everybody pulls up that quote out of context. Like, yeah, did you guys see this the other day? Justin Fields said the game was slow to him.
Oh,
and they're like, oh, yeah, after he got smoked, they all started laughing. And they're like, yeah, that's pretty cocky. Like, yeah, it's pretty cocky. And they're like, what?
So
playing
annoying,
against
dude.
though? And they're like, yeah, dude, you're playing against the backups of backups. Like, come on. Like, read the quote. Like, come on. You're really going to just trash on this guy?
Yeah.
You're calling him cocky because he said one thing and you're taking context?
I thought the same way as all that shit was being talked about.
It's so, like, they're so quick to just shit on these kids. I'm not trying to shit on any of them yet. None of them have done anything.
I'm 100% the same boat. I hope they all are good. And it's like...
I'm not really rooting for Trevor Lawrence to fucking go out there and stink. I'm really not.
No, me neither.
I don't necessarily, like, I don't care.
No,
I don't
it's weird because it's like it's that thing that pisses me off about sports and sports media so much, where it's like a take becomes so common that like people get like cocky and like laughy about it, and that was like one of them. It's like, oh yeah, Dan, you know that because you know how fast the NFL is compared to what Fields has seen his whole career. I would debate. I mean, he's played against Bama and Clemson. I can't imagine those defenses are much slower than an NFL defense.
Yeah, but do you even? But
And I
remember
believe Fields. I believe Fields that he said it's not as fast as he thought. I believe it.
Remember after he said that, he clarified it in the same press conference by saying, "I'm only saying that because I play against our defense in practice, and our defense is like the best in the league. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
so look at that. He was actually complimenting the defense, and see, I didn't even hear that part. That's what makes me annoyed.
That's what the out of context was. And it's like, come on, guys. He literally was like, he wasn't lying. I believe him. I bet he like really thinks our defense is elite nasty this year. I bet he thinks so because they do look like they're gonna be. I'm stoked for our defense.
They are elite nasty.
Everybody's getting healthy again.
Or we're the Chicago Elite Nasties.
Come on now.
I'm real excited. Real excited.
Yeah. But we still got to get through one more preseason game. Another 2 weeks of emphasizing Andy Dalton as our QB1.
Yeah.
That's fine. Sleep on the wolf. Let's just ride this underdog train. That's whatever.
Scary.
It's just, you know what this is? That chip on Justin Fields' shoulder, it just like is gonna grow maybe 3 times the size by the time he gets his start.
I almost think this guy's like, he's one of those rare guys where it's almost like he thinks chips are almost like dumb. Like I think he's a guy who's just like,
he's bigger than
100%.
He's like bigger than chips.
Like
No,
chips
I look at him as a Brady.
I see him going like, why would I need a chip? Like I'm that good. Like I'm already as pissed and wanting to be amazing as I possibly can.
Okay, I don't think he would call it a chip, but I would think it's similar to a Tom Brady vibe, where I don't think because you could say Tom Brady has the biggest chip of all time, or he's just chasing legends.
So did Mike. I know the goats have chips and everything, but there's a few guys that are just like too fucking cool. You know, they don't even have time for the chip. Like Ohtani could easily have a chip, but he doesn't. He's just like very like whatever.
All right, does Kobe have a chip?
Kobe, I think his chip was more like no. I think he was just another guy who believed in if I were.
His chip was himself.
Yes,
and it was himself, and it was because it wasn't just beating the best guy in the league. It was beating the best guy, and then not being the best, but beating my own being the best.
Yes, yeah.
I want to chase nothing. I'm chasing.
That's why I don't consider Kobe to have the chip. I think that's just his brain.
See, and I think that's exactly what Tom Brady is, because what's driving him to go for another Super Bowl after you've already crushed the record? I'm chasing nothing. I'm chasing ghosts. That's what he's doing.
He's that dude. He's that type of guy. I mean, there's just those type of guys. And I love him. And Fields is one
Justin Fields could be that.
Yeah.
He could be that.
Yeah. He seems like it. He seems like nothing makes him nervous, and he – in his head, though, like he's got that cockiness that you want a quarterback to have.
He's got that good cockiness that comes with a lot of like leadership vibe, and a lot of like you just want to trust and follow that guy. If he's in your locker room with that game face and the way he probably practices and gives a shit,
and how athletic he is, and probably how much cooler.
It's one of those things you can't deny. It's just gonna bleed into the room.
He's definitely a dude that like is too cool to approach. Also, so I guarantee there's people in the locker room still who are just like intimidated by his coolness.
But I bet he's nice to everybody. I bet.
Oh yeah, but that's part of the coolness.
With everybody.
That's part of the coolness. Because he knows that everybody's probably intimidated from his like fucking elite being, his aura. He's a glower.
You know what he's going to do? He's going to break out of his shell whenever Matt Nagy gets fired. He's going to go to the locker room, and everyone's going to look at Justin Fields, and he'll be like look over with some sort of smile and maybe like drop a one-liner. And it'll be kind of like that moment of Justin Fields showed us your show.
Yeah. He's going to bust out.
Fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah, he's going to, he'll be like, oh, no, yeah. And like Sean Desai's like laughing, waving him on.
Yes.
He goes, now let's go win some fucking games, boys.
Allen Robinson's going to die.
Imagine that, yeah.
Dap him up.
Now that that's over, let's go win a Super Bowl.
Right.
He goes, I'm done with that shit. We weren't even talking about a Super Bowl half the time. He's talking about my development. I just turn my ears off every time he's talking to me. He's like, I don't want to talk about that shit. Let's go win the Super Bowl. I want Sean Desai to be our new head coach.
I'm interested to see how he does this year.
He was pretty intense on the sideline. He's former right-hand man under Fangio, so I think it'll be nice. And he's young, and he's cool. He's a cool guy.
What was he? He was safeties coach last 2 years?
No, he's defensive. Oh, no, yeah, Pagano. That would make sense. Pagano was a waste of time. We should have just hired Desai last year.
Yeah, we should have. I think that was a name like we kind of.
Nagy, bro. That was another Nagy.
Bears talk was floated around.
Another weird Nagy move.
Here's one. Bill Lazor, like I don't have anything against the guy, but really last year the difference you want to make is bring in Andy Dalton. Like if anything, like at least try to like get a new offensive coordinator.
He's such an old head, man. He's such an old head.
Who? Nagy
no, Bill Lazor. He thinks that way. I mean, he's not somebody you want as a modern offensive coordinator. He's got so much experience.
Like, because here's the only problem, though. He did. I want to say he had a better record when he was calling plays for us than Nagy did as calling plays last year.
He did. I mean, he only called 4 games, but 2 of the 4 were really solid. Nagy had no performances, and he had 12 games that he called. No, Lazor, I thought, called the playbook well. I still don't like our offense. I think
he did call it well.
I think that we need to bring in a guy who brings in a new offensive system, like a gunner. Like I would love. I'll say it again. Bring in Jack Del Rio. Come on.
Jack Del Rio is the saving grace, you think?
Oh, I just love how he coaches. I love his system. Players love playing for him. He reminds me of Bruce Arians, except not as dummy.
It's just, but a couple things. It's even though it was only 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. It is aged since then. The league is different, and I don't think that's the top ceiling guy we should go get. We should get someone better than that.
I agree, but that was when that Raiders team was actually good, and they were very young, and they were the sparkiest team in the league almost, and it was under Del Rio. The only reason he got fired was because Gruden was available or wanted the job, and Mark Davis and Gruden are Mark Davis wants to be John Gruden, so.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
let's good team.
Let's, I guess, be thankful we're not stuck in a 10-year contract with Nagy, like the Raiders are with Gruden. Even though I wouldn't mind having Gruden, but you would need to have a base of players before he came in. You cannot trust you can't trust Gruden to build your team.
I give him 2 more years if he plays at the same level he's been playing at before he's gone.
With him. Yeah, I say that's right on the money. 2 years.
If he misses playoffs by a game this year and does the same thing next year, or maybe even makes playoffs and they lose right away, I think he's a goner.
I agree.
And I don't think it'll be ugly. I think it'll just be a mutual, they'll make it, because Mark Davis is chill. Gruden is chill. They're going to make it nice and mutual department. That's why it's he's going back to the booth or something.
That's why I'm careful to not try, because I don't want people to think I'm not a fan of Gruden. I still love his coaching style. I think if let's say Gruden got hired, he got hired to a team where the coach retired. Let's say I guess I would have to think this one out. Let's say Bruce Arians gets sick again and he retires, and the Buccaneers decide they want to bring Gruden back because he was the old Bucs coach and they went to the Super Bowl and everything. And he comes in, he has the full roster, and all that's left to do is coach them and get them hyped up together. I think that's where his talent comes into play. But he came into a really open-ended situation with Oakland, and they were moving cities, and they were not deep, and they had just kind of split ways with a lot of their veterans and things like that. But at the same time, when he came in, he had Cooper, Carr, and Khalil Mack, which that was their big three for a few years, and it proved to be good enough under Del Rio. So it is on Gruden that he moved on from that group, but I think like as a single year, like a Ditka totally, because like Ditka, you can hire him, he'll win the Super Bowl, but you don't want to keep him for the next 3 years like they did. I mean, that showed. We fired him 2 years after that 85 Bears game, that 85 Bears team, because he just like it went shit, just like Gruden's thing. You know, like losing players, this and that. He's too much of a show himself and everything.
Right.
But when the whole group is there, and he's like can be that spark in the middle, it's like untouchable. It's the scariest thing ever. And that's why, I mean, Gruden has done it before. So I think like that's actually not a bad situation. If Arians does get sick again and retires, I bet you they would go after Gruden. If it's soon.
I would just be shocked because like if he goes another year, it would be 5 years of mediocre or 4 years of mediocre on this contract.
For sure.
And I'd be like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if he has it yet or still. Like, I know it could come out of nowhere, and that's what it is. But at the same time, I don't know if it's worth it on a guy like that. And he probably cost a shit ton after that. He made $10 million on that. You know that guy costs money.
$10 million a year. That's like what Saban makes at Alabama.
I want to say Saban's at 12, maybe.
I think he's at 11 at the highest right now, unless it went up again. I remember his last increase was 10 to 11 though, because I think he's been the highest paid coach for the last like 10 years now, 12 maybe.
What's Dabo making?
I think like 8 or 9.
8 or 9. Okay. What's Lincoln Riley making?
I think around the same. Most of the good basketball coaches only make like 4 or 5 at most. Football, they can afford a little bit more. I bet you Dan Mullen makes $2. Let's see. Dan Mullen, I bet makes $2 million a year on me.
$2 million for Dan Mullen?
Yeah. Let me see.
That's fair. No, not fair.
Oh wow. They just gave him a 3-year extension recently that raised it to $7.5 million a year through 2026. Wow, that's pretty dumb.
7.5. That's a great contract.
That's a great contract, and he got 3 more years out of it. So he's got that totaled out to 7 years.
Wow.
That's
Dabo's making 8.3.
8.3.
Jim Harbaugh, that's a good one. Making 8.
I can't imagine Harbaugh's gone up or down. I'm sure he started at 8. He's just been there.
It's crazy.
That
Ryan
makes
Day.
sense, bro. What's Day make? 6?
5'7". He's getting up there.
He's the best. Not the best. He's Ryan Day is the new like third amigo with Davon and Saban. I love Lincoln Riley, but I still think Day is kind of that like alpha coach guy.